with respect to World War II. We decided that the strategic bombing of Japan, blowing up their cities and depopulating them, was the way to go. You know what? We really could have blockaded them, blocked them in, but we were in a hurry to get the war done. We didn't have the patience. They said that the only option was to surrender or invade Japan. Well, I would argue there would have been some other alternatives. And we were strong enough that we could have imposed a pretty significant naval blockade. And then, bombing runs on airfields and military targets. I have no problem with blowing up military targets, but the problem is, frankly, we acted a lot like the Israelis are acting now in Gaza, blowing up hospitals, schools, churches, universities, and laying waste to so that nobody can live there. And it really is, it's a complete contrast with how Russia has conducted the special military operation in Kiev, throughout Ukraine, not just Kiev. Yeah, they've launched thousands of missile rocket drone attacks. If the Russians were inflicting civilian casualties, just like Ukraine did on Sunday in Donetsk, that would be all over the news. That would be front page news. The United States would be trumpeting it just to reinforce the trying to build world opinion against Russia as a bunch of criminals. They're not doing that because Russia's not doing it. Russia's being precise in what it's hitting military, industrial targets, and it'll hit critical infrastructure. But it has gone at great pains to avoid inflicting civilian casualties. It's a different. Russians have a different way of doing business.
Speaking on Israel, I was reading yesterday that they compiled a list of over 1,000 mosques and churches that were destroyed, have been destroyed since the bombing campaign. That is outrageous, because had there been a synagogue, the West would have been outraged. And I'm surprised that Christians are not outraged about this, that all those churches were destroyed on a bombing raid of anger. And it seems like to me that Netanyahu has lost his mind, because now he's pivoting to escalate with Syria, with Lebanon, with everybody. Where are we at? And all of the people in the know said that they can't win a war against Hezbollah.
Yeah. Well, I wish this whole war would come to an end, but it's not going to. So the way to make it end, I hope Israel goes after Hezbollah. I hope they attack Hezbollah. I hope they invade southern Lebanon, because they're going to get their ass kicked. And it's only when you get your ass whipped that you find out, okay, that was a bad idea. And they're going to have to come to a political agreement. You've dealt with bullies in your life, and they come up and, at some point you got to break their nose, and put them on the ground. And only then will they sort of wake up from this, okay, maybe this bullying thing is not a good idea. It's not working out good for me. And that's what it's going to take. I think Israel, I wrote a lot about Israel's invasion into southern Lebanon in 2006, and said before they went in at the time they were going to get beat. And little did I realize they were going to get beat as bad as they did. And, I got a lot of pushback from the pro-Israel crowd back then. I'll tell you what, we're now 18 years later, almost 20 years later. Hezbollah is bigger, it's badder, it's better. And Israel is not. Israel's not bigger, badder, and better. Israel's more arrogant and filled with this bloodlust. But, if they decide to divide their forces, so they'll be fighting the equivalent of a three-front war. They'll be fighting in Gaza, they'll be fighting in the West Bank, and then they're fighting up north. Hitler couldn't do that. I don't know what the Israelis, these Zionist crazies think they're doing, but there's a part of me that says, okay, guys, go for it. I hope you do it. It's because it's the only way they're going to learn some hard lessons.
But